So hi guys, hi, how are you all doing? I hope you're well. I'm really excited about today. I'm continuing my talk on planning ahead and enjoying the journey. If you don't know me, I'm Donya Na and I've been working education for over 20 years. I'm really excited about education. I believe every child can excel if they're given the right information, guidance and support. I love parenting. I love education. I love talking to parents, and I've been doing that for the last, say, in this case, 26 weeks. Talking about, well, I'm working up to 26 weeks. I've been talking about how to help your child to excel, looking at different ways. We started at A, and we're looking at achieving, helping our children to achieve, helping our children to think about how they do in school, their behavior, looking at positive reinforcement, positive ways that we can help our children, positive ways that we can guide them. So I've been basically working through the alphabet, looking at our A to Z, yep, and how we can help our children to really excel and to enjoy life. I look at the A to Z as a journey from A getting to Z, and we are working together as parents, thinking of ways that we can actually make that journey smoother and easier. And I've given some tips and some ideas and formulas, and we've been sharing together as parents. So as I said, we started at A, looking at achievement, looking at affirmation, because it's important that we affirm our children, looking at how we celebrate achievement, because it's important for us to celebrate when our children do some good things, and so that we're not always just talking at them about how to better, behave and things like that. So we celebrate achievement. That's very important to us. We've also been looking and talking very much about teaching our children to be bold, to go out to achieve the things that they're interested in, and looking at what that means. We've been looking at culture, the importance of culture, thinking about work culture, preparing our children for home, thinking about how they behave at home, how they behave at school, ready for work, and also life generally. I kind of see myself as a 360 educator, looking, there's a big circle, thinking about home, thinking about school, thinking about work, thinking about life, and us as parents thinking as well, how are we preparing for them? How are we preparing them to do well in the home, to enjoy home? How are we preparing them for the world of, for school, to excel in school? How are we preparing our children to get ready for the world of work? But, also very much, how are we preparing them to enjoy life, to enjoy the journey? So when we're looking at D, we're looking at determination. E, we're looking at encouragement, empowerment. When we're looking at things like F, we're talking about forgiveness, how we forgive ourselves and we forgive our children. We're looking at generosity, all of the skills that are going to help to make our children excel, all of the skills that's going to help our children to be responsible adults, all of the skills that needed for life generally to succeed anywhere in the world, anywhere in life. So these are the things I've been looking at. And I've been talking about these things because I've been working in education for over 20 years. So I've been working on the organization I started was the ACES Youth Project. And with ACES, the idea is to actually really focus on, helping children, again, like you said, to excel, to understand their potential, to unleash their potential. And that's really important to me. And that's why this week I'm actually talking about planning ahead, the importance of planning ahead, but also the importance of enjoying that journey as we plan ahead. It's no good, you take a journey, you're going to go, we don't know, somewhere that's just awesome. So we're going to the Bahamas. There's no point planning to go to the Bahamas and not enjoy the journey that's there. And again, there's no point thinking we want our children to excel, but just focus on the pressure and the stress and the whole thing just not being enjoyable. Research has shown that when at the end of their life, what people are really interested, when asked, the nurse had asked the people who were dying, they will actually ask them, what is it about your life? What's your greatest regret? And one of the greatest regret that they had was that they didn't build relationships with their families, and didn't build good relationship with their friends, and didn't enjoy life as much. So like you said, education is important to be paramount. I think every child can excel with the right information, support and guidance. But as we are focusing on getting the very best grades, as we're focusing on topping the class, we also have to think about our own relationships with each other. We have to think about our relationships with our children. And the thing is, it's not that it doesn't go hand in hand. I see it very much hand in hand. I think every day that you get up, you should think about how are we going to end, how are we going to make the most of today, how are we going to achieve our potential, how are we going to achieve our grace, how are we going to contribute to society. And so today, really, like I said, in terms of this plan ahead, I want us to think about this journey that we're going on. So when we're 2017 is a new year, it's an opportunity in January now. It's an opportunity to open a new book, to start writing a new chapter, to start a new book. And it would be unfortunate if we left 2016 and going into 2017 and nothing's changed. We have no plans as to how we're going to help our children. We know our children got exams coming up. We know our children have got, it's a maybe end of term test, end of year test. We know, for example, the parents I've been speaking to, you know, their children want to, when they leave school, they want to go and get a particular job, a particular career, but yet people are not planning for that. How is that? Why is that? Why are we just left our children alone? You know, it's a journey, and certainly we can do some research, we can have a conversation, we can talk to other people. And I think this journey doesn't have to be alone. And there are lots of people who are lost because the education system sometimes doesn't quite explain how, you know, what's the next phase. Sometimes people don't understand key stages, they don't understand the terminology, they don't understand national curriculum, they don't even know where to go to get the to find the best books or the best resources. So I understand it can be difficult, but that's where planning ahead comes along. If your child has got GCSEs, you need to know what do you need to actually help them to do well in their GCSEs. You need to talk to teachers, you need to go to BBC Bite Size, you need to go online, you need to speak to other parents or children who've done their GCSEs earlier. There is no reason for us to leave our children and not think about what that end destination is. It's the same thing, I would say, of where we're thinking our children want to become, I don't know, scientists, work in IT, become astronaut, Superman, whatever the case may be that they want to do. And we hear this over and over again, our children wanting to do those things. It is important as parents, if that's a destination of where they want to get to, for us to try and help them as much. And I've said this before, and you know, I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks, because we've been talking about planning ahead. But it's important for us to think, how are we going to facilitate that? How are we going to help them? If they're into science, are we going to take them to the Science Museum? Are we going to, if they want to do something in medicine, are we going to get them the kit? Are we going to think about getting them to speak to medical doctors? Are we going to think about people that we know? Are we going to get on Twitter? Are we going to get them to use our Twitter constructively? See if we can actually then connect with some doctors, for example. I'm using doctors as an example, that's not the only job, but you know, on a LinkedIn or, you know, or Facebook, are we going to see if we can connect? You know, there are lots of interviews, career interviews, so we're going to let our children watch those things, or are we just going to let another year pass, nothing else, nothing planned, and then we stand at the end of the year and think, what have we actually achieved? I mean, interestingly enough, you know, in terms of this planning and this destination, I think it's important for us always to think about what is it that we want, when we say what we want to achieve, what's going to be approach on the journey. Are we having a plan? Are we going to put a plan in place to enjoy this journey? You know, sometimes we look, I think for my years, 20 years of working in education and youth ministry, And I think we focus so much on that thing that we want to achieve that we forget sometimes to enjoy the journey. Can make the whole process stressful, especially if we're not planned ahead. That can make the process stressful for our children and for ourselves. And I think we also need to see the bigger picture, and why I'm doing these 26 ways to help your child to excel. You've got to think, what is excel and what does success look like? Excel and success should also mean that you build a strong relationship with your children. And I've talked about this before, our relationship with our children cannot just be about exams, and it cannot just be about school, and it cannot just be about grades. There's so much more to life, and there's so much more in terms of our relationship with our children. When did we last go out? That should be in our plan for this year. Where are we going? What are we planning to achieve? What are we, in terms of planning to achieve, I mean, as a family, when are we going to have our movie nights? When are we going to have our date nights, if that's the case? You know, what holidays are we going to go on, even if they're at home and they're local holidays? But how are we going to strengthen and build up our relationships this year? We've got to ask ourselves, and I keep repeating the same question, asking the same question, because I'm surprised how many people just still haven't written a plan or have any plan or even discuss things with their families. And then also a key thing is, I've had a couple of phone calls this week, and I'm just like, well, we're actually just at the beginning of 2017. Hello, everybody. We're at the beginning of 2017. We can't be having these phone calls. And, you know, that's why I thought I would also mention, you know, let us not, having left 2016, pretend that everything's perfect. There are no perfect parents, and there are no perfect plans either. Things are going to fail. Things are going to fall apart. We may have to change course sometimes. Sometimes there's an iceberg in the way or a hurdle in the way. We're going to have to go around in terms of plans for our journey. But still, let us decide that we're going to enjoy it no matter what. And I think if we own up, even I'm a mom, I get things wrong. I get things right. The reason why I do get some of those things right is because I get mentors. I have a lot of mentors. I have mentors whose children have excelled academically, and I refer to them all the time, and I thank them all the time. I have mentors who guide me in terms of business. I've got mentors who tell me all about different things in social media and part of a networking group. It is said that it takes a village to raise a child, and that is even the case in modern day UK, the modern day world. It's not something that we can do alone, because I think if we do it alone, we're going to get it wrong. Yeah, we're going to get it wrong. So I think this year, when you take your journey, especially if you want to enjoy it, ease the burden. There's so much burden on women, there's so much burden on parents, but there's so much burden on women to try and fit a particular mold, or to balance the children, the work, the home. And sometimes parents don't even have time to read something, or to read a book, or even to be watching anything. So let us speak to some people, build a strong support network. And as I was saying, it's just 2017. In terms of enjoying, let us think about some of the baggages that we're going to leave behind in 2016 and we're not going to take into 2017. I think one certain baggage that we should agree as parents that we're not going to take in is a baggage of public opinion, people's opinion and public opinion. You know, I know on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, people are used to giving their comments. People you don't know are telling you what they think of things, and sometimes people you know, and maybe your child's not doing as well at school, and your friend in your friendship group, the other children are doing well in their school. Well, it doesn't matter. Just love your children for who they are. Love your children for the gifts that they have. Love your children and help them where they are, rather than comparing them, or rather than being so concerned about what everybody else is saying about your children and about what they achieve and where they should be, because that can actually damage your relationship. And like you said, I'm all for academics. I think academics is important. I'm always very focused on helping children to achieve their fullest potential and then achieving their fullest grades. But I don't think that we need to do it at an expense of relationship, good parenting, we should try and build our relationship with our children and with our family. It should go hand in hand, because life isn't just about that thing, that gaining that thing. Life is about relationship. What did you build? You know, I talk about legacy parenting. We should focus on legacy parenting. How are we going to parent so that we build strong, responsible children, young people, citizens, but also those who are going to leave a legacy? How are they going to speak about you to their children, and their children speak about you to the grandchildren, and so forth, and going on? What will you be remembered for? What will I be remembered for? That is so important. And as a result, I think, you know, it's important that we leave our baggages behind, like I said, in 2016. You know, I'm absolutely shocked and sometimes really horrified when we think that there's people who are in their 40s and their 50s, and they're still holding on to things that are a long time past, you know, and they're still hurt by what their parents did. And sometimes, you know, yes, that people have done some terrible things, and I am not excusing that. But if we have children now, and if you and I have children, a better, brighter future for them, we have got to think about how we are, what are we handing to them? How are we handing the baton? Are we handing them a nice baton that they can run with? Or are we handing them a lead or a chain, or, you know, or a ball, a lead ball, to hang their feet so they can't run to win this race, you know? And there's things that we've got to think about in terms of, like I said, being a slave to public opinion, and holding your children slave to public opinion, or being a slave of the past and holding your children to the past, especially when, you know, we're thinking of moving forward in 2016. We're talking about things that's happening in our own lives, which may impact us not being able to love our children properly or take care of our children properly. Perhaps we then need to think about, do we need to, for 2017, to make things better, do we need to think about going to some kind of therapy, or getting some help, or getting mentoring, or talking to people, but thinking about building our relationships? Or if we can't do any of those things, then we just got to think, have we got to let go to make things happy for the next generation? And there's things that, you know, again, as we're talking in terms of parenting, we've got to think of, for example, if, you know, something that keeps coming up as well is husbands and wives who split from each other. Children are growing up in single parent home, or where the, you know, parents don't live together. We need to really do some good do's and don'ts this year, and make a decision this year that we won't use our children as pawns. You know, that whatever happened in our relationships, or what in the past, or even in the present, as much as we need to work that out with that person, it's not our children's fault. And so it's unfair for us thinking going forward in 2017, for us to hold our children accountable for what somebody else did in the past, or what somebody else is doing now. I think it is for us to think, and I've always said this, it's for us to think of our children and our responsibility. Our responsibility, we are gardeners, and we've been given the seed, and we are stewards over our children, and it is important for us to nurture and have a wonderful home, a wonderful environment, that they can grow up and be strong, grow up and be beautiful flowers, beautiful roses, beautiful trees. And imagine if constantly we're comparing our children, constantly we're thinking about public opinion, so we never allow them to do the things that they are great at. Constantly we're thinking about what their dad did, or what their mom did, what my grandmother did, what my great grandmother did, what, you know, great grandfather did, what whoever, all the baggages of the past. Imagine if all we're showing is just you know, killers. You just throwing poison at the children, then they're just not going to grow up being happy, and not going to achieve their potential, not going to achieve, because constantly, I think, you know, I did a series on the love needs and the love languages. I think it's important for us as parents to really nurture our children, speak life into them, give them hugs, give them kisses, thinking about the quality time that we spend with our children, really know our children, what's our gifting, what do they like, what don't they like, and work with them on that. Because like I say, you wouldn't go on a journey to the Bahamas and you bring your winter coat and you bring your jumpers and you bring everything except what is needed, which is your swimming costume and your sun cream and all the stuff and the sunglasses. You just bring all the wrong thing for the journey ahead. That wouldn't absolutely make sense. And get to baggage custom and they're charging you extra for all the extra weight that you brought that wasn't necessary. You know, we've just got to leave all that dead weight and decide we're going to get dead weight. And you know, the world is changing. We watch on news all the time. Things are changing in our world, and with the world becoming, or people being worried about it not being so safe, or you know, the political climate is very different. We've got to make our children feel safe. We've got to make our families feel safe. We've got to be there for them. We've got to love them in a time of uncertainty. If you look at the statistics now, and I'm talking about the statistics in the UK, and I'm sure it's similar globally, a lot of children are just unhappy. The suicidal rate amongst young people and mental health amongst young people has substantially increased because our young people are worried. And as they're worried, where are us? Where are we? Where are the parents? Where are the mothers? Where are the fathers? Where are the sisters? Where are the brothers? Where are the rest of the family to build that strong network around this child, around the children, to say it's okay. I am here for you. I love you. I'm not going to criticize you. You may have failed that exam, but that's life. We fail sometimes. We pick ourselves up. You may have got it wrong, or I may have got it wrong. That's part of life. Where are we to actually build that? But sometimes we're so focused on dealing with our own baggage that we can't help anyone forward. And life is about helping the next generation forward, moving forward, propelling forward, pushing somebody forward, not bringing them back down. Because the more we disable our children to not be able to stand up to public opinion, the more we disable them by telling them of their woes, or bringing the burdens or the issues that we have in our own relationship with other people, then the more we disable them. And then if they are not sound, strong individuals and have children, they're going to disable their own children. So it's so important when we're planning ahead, when we're thinking of this journey of life, that we enjoy life and we make a decision. Gosh, it is a decision. It is a decision. Being happy, I've realized, is a decision. So let us make a decision to be happy in 2017. There are so many uncertainties, too many uncertainties. In fact, there's so many uncertainties, so many anomalies, so many strange things happening worldwide and globally, that I can't get sad about it, because I don't even know whether to be sad or happy. I don't even know if it's going to work out or not. So do you know what? In this journey of life, I don't want to have any regrets, because time is precious. So I want to know that I've enjoyed. I laughed a lot. I enjoyed a lot. I hugged my children a lot. You know, I told them I love them a lot, because who knows what tomorrow will bring. So guys, parents, in terms of our planning ahead, let us plan, like I say, to prepare, to enjoy the journey. Let us plan for the journey. Things may change, but at least if we have a direction, your children will get there with it and be focused on the direction that they're heading. I've spoken about planning ahead a lot in January, because I am aware still that a lot of people haven't sat down with their children and have a plan. What are we doing this year? What's our mission statement this year? What's our family plan this year? Where are we going this year? I even said, you know, to the boys, how much money do you want to earn this year? What do you want to earn this year? How are you going to earn it this year? What grades do you want this year? As I've said, if your children have exams coming up, you should know which syllabus they're doing. You should know which past papers to download. You should have spoken to them. If they want to go to a particular university, you should have visited those universities with them. You should be on the journey with them. Just enjoy life. It is the beginning of January, people. Let us decide that we're not going to be all woe is me at the beginning of January. Like I said, there's a lot of uncertainty, but certainly in our homes, in our own homes, we can let our children feel safe, we can love them, we can take care of them, and that is how they will excel, because self-confidence is a phenomenal thing. And if they can build their self-confidence, they will glow, they will shine, and they will rise to that. Um, they will rise to whatever it is, plan, or whatever it is that they want to achieve. They will go for it. But if they feel stressed, they feel unloved, there's really no point. They'll feel that there's no point them going for that thing. You'll actually end up having very demotivated, depressed children. So please let us plan ahead, but let us plan to build strong relationships. Let us plan to build strong children. And then lastly, I will end with this quote that I put out of Frederick Douglass, and I'm going to paraphrase. Frederick Douglass said, "It is easier to build strong children than it is to repair broken men." So I repeat, it is better to build strong children than to repair broken men. So, and I imagine that's broken men and women. So let us love our children, let us assure them, let us plan with them for them to achieve their potential so they don't achieve. But let us all maximize our time, and let us all decide as adults to leave our baggages behind. We can't be having the same baggages 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years on. That does not make sense. Let us build a relationship, and let us make a decision to be happy. Alrighty, guys. See you guys next week.